What is going on, Cosmic Crew? We have some huge news today because it has been confirmed that Sadie Sink is going to not only be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, but also be in Avengers Secret Wars, not Avengers Doomsday. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but it is confirmed now that she will be in Avengers Secret Wars. And I actually think this tells us a lot about, one, her character, but two, kind of about the events of Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars, and gives us a little bit of info about Tom Holland Spider-Man as well. A lot to break down today, but first and foremost, let's go over the initial report. This is coming from Deadline, and the title doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man. It has to do with Sadie Sink. She is just a pretty big star right now, especially with Stranger Things, the finale, the series finale actually, coming out really soon, a couple weeks now, I think. But it's coming from Deadline. The title reads, Breaking Baz, Stranger Things star Sadie Sink will make London West End stage debut in Romeo and Juliet with Hamnet's Noah Jupe for director Robert Icke. So if you scroll down, you scroll down, you scroll down, you scroll down, you keep scrolling down, you keep scrolling down, you keep scrolling down, eventually there's a part that says Spider-Man Brand New Day is scheduled to open on July 31st. There has been much speculation about the role Sink has in the Spidey film, and frankly, I do not know the answer. But I do know that she'll join the cast of the next Avengers picture that shoots here in London later in 2026. So that the wording's a little interesting on that, right? So he says she'll join the cast of the next Avengers picture that shoots here in London in later 2026. So Avengers Doomsday has already shot in London. So they're not saying, oh, they're joining the next Avengers film that comes out, because that would be Avengers Doomsday. But no, they're joining the next one that is shooting. So the next one that's shooting is Secret Wars, because they've already shot Doomsday. And we've actually had multiple reports last week and over the weekend that yes, that is when Avengers Secret Wars is going to begin shooting. So Deadline, who of course is one of the biggest outlets there is, reputable, they've learned Sadie Sink is going to be in Avengers Secret Wars. I love this right away because I think this means, I hope this means, that her character is pretty big, which is something that I've wanted since she has joined the cast. Her appearing in Avengers Secret Wars, I do think, means that she's not just some side character in Spider-Man Brand New Day. For example, I'm not sure if the Punisher is going to show up in Avengers Doomsday and or Avengers Secret Wars. With so many characters being in the film and going to different multiverses and stuff like that, and him not really having any tie to the Avengers, I'm not really sure he would show up, which meant if he was going to be, the sidekick, or if Sadie Sink was going to be the sidekick of the Punisher, I don't think she would show up either. So I think we might be able to knock that off the list of who she's playing. But she's clearly going to be playing someone of importance if her character is going to be that important to show up in Avengers Secret Wars. So those big names that we talked about before, Gwen Stacy, Firestar, I still do like the reports, or it wasn't a report, it was a theory, that she could be playing a version of Jean Grey sent specifically to the 616 universe by Professor X for some reason. Maybe Peter Parker is an anchor being and Professor X sent her, Jean Grey, to our universe to observe him for some reason. I don't know. But also, maybe she could be playing Mayday Parker. There have been a couple of insiders like John Roca who have reported that a good source to them told them, and I think Christian Harloff said this as well, that she's playing Mayday Parker, the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, who is going to be in Avengers Doomsday, according to recent reports. So I think her character is actually quite important. I think it probably is one of those characters. If I had to guess, I would say either Spider-Gwen, Mayday Parker, who honestly is probably my favorite. I'm honestly rooting for her to play Mayday Parker the most, or Jean Grey. And I think, although I think those three are the most likely, I think out of those three, it's probably Spider-Gwen or Jean Grey. I want it to be Mayday, but I think Spider-Gwen probably makes the most sense, and we'll get into that a little bit more now. But I think Sadie Sink being in Avengers Secret Wars actually tells us more about Tom Holland Spider-Man, and specifically the reports that we've been hearing recently about his appearance or lack of appearance in Avengers Doomsday. We've been hearing from some insiders recently that Tom Holland Spider-Man is not going to be in Avengers Doomsday, and if he is, he's going to have a very small role to play. Well, since Sadie Sink is going to be in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie with him, and she is now confirmed to be not in the next Avengers film, Avengers Doomsday, but in Avengers Secret Wars, that might further back up those reports that Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, is not going to be in Avengers Doomsday, because we can assume now, after hearing all of this, that she is a pretty important character in this movie. So whatever happens at the end sounds like she's going to be with Tom Holland Spider-Man. If anything, she'll be in very close proximity to him, right? Within, maybe a few miles of him in New York City. So if something happens with like Battleworld and the multiversal collapse, she's going to be pretty close to him. If not, literally with him. Who knows? They could be fighting crime together if she's Spider-Gwen. So something clearly happens and the two of them are going to be together, and it sounds like they might not appear in Avengers Doomsday, but will return together in Avengers Secret Wars. And that could also explain why we've been hearing that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is going to return in Avengers Doomsday, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to not have Tom Holland Spider-Man in Avengers Doomsday. Perhaps they have just like a really great plan for how it's going to work out. And I get that, because like Hawkeye was not in Avengers Infinity War, but he had a pretty big role to play in Avengers Endgame. So it could be something very similar, but still Spider-Man is like the biggest character of all time, right? The most popular, most well-known character, I would say. To not have him, and a character that really makes Marvel the most money, so to not have him in Avengers Doomsday, I thought was really weird. But to have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in it can kind of make up for it. A lot of people will go to see Tobey. A lot of people will go to see Tobey. For a lot of people, he's their Spider-Man. He's my Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland. I love Andrew Garfield, but Tobey's who I grew up with, so I love him. So I think that might be what Marvel Studios is doing. Since Tom Holland Spider-Man is not going to be in Doomsday, they're going to bring in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man to kind of fill the Spider-Man void there, which makes sense. But I think that kind of does back up those reports that Tom Holland won't be in Doomsday. And I think Sadie Sink won't be either now, because she'll be with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Avengers Secret Wars. In fact, this makes me think that they're going to be in a life raft, possibly. So in the comics, there are really just the Ultimates universe and our main universe that are going at it right as the multiverse is collapsing. And there are two life rafts created by different versions of Reed Richards. Well, one is the Maker, the other one is Reed. And in our good Reed's life raft, there's Miles Morales and Spider-Man. Well, I think this could be the same thing. I think it could be Spider-Man, but instead of Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen. And I think she could appear on Secret Wars. So in Secret Wars, the life rafts, they are kind of hidden on Battleworld for a pretty long time. Like years go by before they are opened. So they're not really involved in the story kind of like in the beginning, but when the life rafts are discovered and they come out, the people inside the life rafts, they remember everything that happened before the multiverse was destroyed and Battleworld was created. And this is really important, because I think the same thing is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. When Doom creates Battleworld, I believe that all of the people who are on it, they're not going to remember what happened before. They're not going to remember the big multiversal war. And if you think about it, Kang did erase people's memories in the TVA, so they wouldn't remember anything that happened before. So Doom could probably do this pretty easily, until some people show up who do remember. And I think Tom Holland Spider-Man and Sadie Sink's character are going to be two of those people. I think it makes the most sense for her to play Spider-Gwen if we think about it in this scenario right here. But either way, I think this pretty much confirms that whatever character she's playing in Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be a pretty important character, which I'm really psyched about, because like I said, she is just, her career's taking off right now. I think she's a great actress, and I think it just makes sense to have her play a big character, not a small character that would just go away. Also, I think this could reveal that she could have actually a pretty big future with Marvel Studios, because I think at the end of Secret Wars, whoever's around, they're going to kind of just stick around through the reset, because Kevin Feige confirmed our universe is going to be reset. Not completely, people will make it through, and I think Sadie Sink's character and Tom Holland Spider-Man are going to be two of those characters. So moving forward, we could have Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen in the MCU. And then eventually Tom Holland said that he does want to pass the mantle down and he would love to pass it to Miles. And Kevin Feige even said after Beyond the Spider-Verse, we can have Miles in the MCU. So I think the future of Spider-Man could be Spider-Gwen in the form of Sadie Sink and then a Miles Morales. And those could be the two Spider-Men in the MCU after Tom Holland is gone. And I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be pretty cool. Now, there is also the possibility that at the end, something happens and they actually are in Doomsday. But Marvel doesn't want to reveal that yet. And they might not have revealed that to Deadline, is the thing. They might have just only told them, hey, Sadie Sink's going to be in Avengers Secret Wars. Because they might feel that if they did reveal that she was going to be in Avengers Doomsday, well, then obviously we would go, okay, well, then Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Because that just makes the most logical sense. So they could have perhaps not told them she's going to be in Doomsday on purpose to try to lead us just off what they're doing. It's possible. Another option is she could actually be a variant. I don't think this is the route that they would go. Like, universe gets destroyed, multiverse gets destroyed, Tom Holland Spider-Man shows up, and then he sees a variant of the character that Sadie Sink is playing, and perhaps in Spider-Man Brand New Day, she's simply just Gwen Stacy, not Spider-Gwen. But then in Secret Wars, he meets a variant of her who is actually Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, Ghosty. And she has lots of names. That's also the possibility. But I think just based on what we've been hearing, for example, we've been hearing a lot of rumors lately that she is indeed going to be the new girlfriend of Spider-Man. So I think they're going to be pretty attached to each other. So I think whatever goes down at the end of Spider-Man Brand New Day, they're together. Whatever happens with the destruction of the multiverse, they're together. And then they show back up together in Avengers Secret Wars. I like the Life Raft idea because this takes from the comics, but it also just makes sense. And we will need people who will remember the past before Battleworld. And I think Spider-Man's definitely going to be one of those people. And it sounds like, I want to say Spider-Gwen, but of course that's not confirmed. But it sounds like Sadie Sink's character is also going to be the same. I think Spider-Gwen makes the most sense, but it could be other characters like Black Cat. Of course, it could be Mayday Parker. And to have her just like be Mayday and then meet back up with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in Avengers Secret Wars would be super cool. She could be Jean Grey and go on to be the new Jean Grey of the new X-Men, because we know that they're going to focus on Jean Grey and Scott Summers for the new X-Men, and I think she would do a killer job at that role. Who knows? I'd love to hear your opinion about this. I'd love to know who you'd like her to play. Who would you like her to play? Not who do you think she's playing, but who would you like her to play? Let me know that in the comments down below, and let me know how excited you are for her to be in Avengers Secret Wars. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest Spider-Man and Marvel news. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.